Assalamualaikum and very good morning. My name is Muhammad Hafiz Ikram bin Hairul Azman, and right now I will present about the data communication and network project. First slide. For HTTP, HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It's a protocol used for transferring web page on the internet. It's define how message formatted and transmit and how web server and browser should respond to various commands. Next, HTTP has a basic concept which is two. The first one client server model and second one request response circle, which is client server model uh, is a client is a computer or application that requires something. For example, your web browser is a client because it asks for your for web page, and the server is a computer and application that provide the request service for or information. For example, a web server deliver the web page that your browser asks for. And for the request response model, request is that's client send a request to the server asking for something like a web page or a file. This is similar to you asking a store clerk for a specific item. For the response, the server receive the request, process it, and then send back to a response with the requested information or a message about the outcome. This is like a store clerk giving you the item you ask for and letting you know if it's not available. Next slide. For how to set up the HTTP, the first one, I will create the topology, which is I will use the client knob, switch knob, and the server knob. The second one, I will config client device and IP address to the another router. The third, run display in IP interface brief and IP routing table command. The fourth, configure the server. The five, run pin test on the client to the server by entering the IP address. And the sixth one, make sure that IP service is running on the server and that it is linking to the local folder where the text .text file located in within the folder by testing for testing. And the last one, connect to the HTTP address at the client and start downloading the HTTP file present over the server. For the DNS, I will pass to my friend Arif.
So DNS stands for Domain Name System, and it is fundamental part of the internet's infrastructure that translates human readable domains name like example.com into IP address. So basically, it just convert from words that human can understand into numbers because computer cannot understand words and they can read it numberly using a number. So then it's like a phone book when we want to search about something, and then the DNS is responsible for finding the correct IP address for those sites. Next slide. So basically, this is the topology. It has server, switch, PC as a user, and router for the network. Next slide. So this is the server config. We need to set up the server first in the uh, ENSP topology. So we put there the IP address of the server 192.168.0.2, and again the server info. I will put the host name as the www.google.com, and the IP address of the google.com is 10.10.10.2. Next slide. So this is PC1 config. Again, I put the IP address 192.168.0.3, which is I personally assigned it, and the DNS one 192.168.0.2, and the subnet mask is 255.255.0. Next slide. So this is the CMD. As you can see, this is the use of how we can check is it connected or not. So we just ping the IP address. So if it is appear there, the response from the server or from the network, so it means that it is already connected to each other. So here we can see it is ping 192.168.0.2, ping 10.10.10.1, and ping google.com. And it's stated there when I ping the google.com, and it provides the IP address of the google.com. Next slide, please. So this is router 1 config, which is we need to set up the config of the router. Next slide. Again, this is another router, act as a Google config. So here we need to set up the routing table. Yeah. Next slide, please. So finally, after we have done setting up and do all the configuration of the DNS, here is the way to check whether it is connected or successfully. So using NS lookup, for example, we just open our CMD and then type nslookup and then our domain name, which is www.google.com, and just press enter, and it will give us the address of the domain name. That's all from me. Thank you. I will pass to the next person.
So the next one is file transfer protocol and travel file transfer protocol. So first of all, this is the topology. So for R1 and R2, so R1 I already declared as um, FTP client, and R2 is the server. So next slide, please. So first, I just put like I put the command as undo tm. It's like the command attempt to turn off the terminate monitor mode, but output message indicate it's already off. So currently the monitor terminal like monitoring is off lah. So the next is call out the system and then put in the IP address, which is 192.168.2.2, and another one is 255.255.255 and 0. So then I quit the thing, quit from the program, and I like I create like for user for client ID, so he can like moment I created a ID for him, so he can check the like what is to like update lah, like he log into the server. Next, please. So in this part, we can see moment when we set up everything ready. So we already set up for server client for our this program, and for server side we need to set also. So in from server we can know, okay, the client have checked what like what the client added up, what client didn't add it up. So next, please. So after everything, to check back what is the ping, so we answer it and we can know if the program is the topology that we have set up is running well. So we can see the all is like replying and the packet is like around the treatment. I mean, next, please. I pass it to Ashraf.
Okay, so now I will explain about Telnet and SSH. Now I will comparing Telnet and SSH, focusing on security aspects. So the first is Telnet. Security is not secure. It is because Telnet transmit data, including login credential, in plain text. This means that any data sent over a Telnet session can be easily intercepted by read by anyone with access to the network. Second is data transmission, sends everything, including password, in plain text. Telnet use unencrypted data authentication, making it vulnerable to the credential theft. So vulnerability, easy to intercept and read that data usage, not recommended for sensitive or internet-based connection. So for SSH, secure shell, security is high secure because SSH includes several security features such as encryption, integrity checks, secure tunneling capabilities. These features help protect against various types of network attacks, including eavesdropping, man-in-the-middle attacks, and session hijacking. Data transmission, encrypt all data including password because SSH encrypts all data transmitted between the client and server, ensuring that it cannot be intercepted and read by unauthorized parties. Protection prevents eavesdropping and attacks. Usage preferred for secure remote access and management. In summary, SSH is significantly more secure than Telnet due to its encryption and advanced security features, making it preferred choice for secure network communication. So Telnet in ENSP, this is the topology. Basically, it is router 1 and router 2 connected to each other. So for the Telnet R1 command, router 1 is I type intg0/0/ and then it will go to the gigabyte internet. And then I type IP address for 192.168 and .10.1 and the N24. And then I quit. I try to connect Telnet 192.168.10.2 and the program will try to connect to the IP address, and then that is the login successfully. So R2 command is the device is running. The R2 command is undo terminal. So currently it's the terminal monitor is off, and then I go to system view. It's the same. I will type intg0/0/ and it will bring me to the IP address, and then I type the IP address 192.168.10.224, and then I will try to connect to the, and then I will try to add a new user, and then the local user admin service type Telnet, I will quit, and then user interface VTY04 authentication mode, and it's success. So after I capture the data for Wireshark, this is the result. So for SSH, it's basically the same for the topology. For the command R1, so I go to sysr1, system R1. It's basically the same. I will try to connect to the IP address and then authenticate it. So for the R2, I will go to the Telnet server and then enable. It will succeed. So the local key, and then I will undo TM. Info current terminal monitor is off. Inter system view, Telnet server enable, and then local key pair create, and then it will generate keys. So next. So after I capture the data for Wireshark, this is the result. Okay, I will pass it to my friends.
Okay, now I'll explain about the Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, DHCP. DHCP, or Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, is a network management protocol that automates the assignment of IP address and other networks configuration parameters to devices on a network. DHCP server dynamically assign IP address to DHCP clients, ensuring each device has a unique address. The process involves 4 key steps. discover, offer, request, and acknowledge. Besides IP address, DHCP can also provide details like subnet mask, default gateway, and DNS server. This automation simplifies network management, reduces manual configuration, and minimizes IP address conflicts. Next slide. So this is my DHCP topology. So the benefit of this topology is centralized routing, which make it easier to manage traffic between the internal network and external network. Second, efficient switching ensures fast communication between PCs without involving the router for intra-network traffic. Third one is scalability. This topology is easily scalable by adding more switches and devices as needed. And the fourth one is security and management. VLANs can be used to segment the network further, providing better security and traffic management. Next slide. So this is my switch configuration command. So first of all, I will explain about the configuration step by step. So first step is to connect the switch. And the second one is to set the host name using the sy name command. Then I create VLANs. The fourth one is configure the interface and the fifth one configure the trunk port that allows it to allows the switch to pass data through the devices. And the last one is I save the configuration. So next slide. So for the router configuration command, I enter the system view mode, and then I would do the same thing is to set the host name, which I put RTR. The third one is configure sub interface for VLANs. So I configured the interface for the VLANs 10 and 20. Fourth is enable DHCP service globally. And the fifth one, create DHCP pools. And the last step, I would save the configuration. So next slide. So this is the Wireshark traffic analysis. So as you can see, my DHCP server is giving the output, which I put in the IP address and the submask, which are the same. So next slide. So this is ipconfig tool to know about the gateway and IP address and the subnet submask address and the DNS server. So next slide. Okay, that's all for us. Thank you for listening. Lebih tu masa, tapi tak apa.